Hello, welcome to Jason on Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking to you again here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. And we're back again for another, or part two of our album exchange for this month of April. And of course, we got Jacob Martin from Jacob Martin here, and
Hey,
we got Adam from What the Gym as
Hello.
well. We covered three albums yesterday, and we're going to cover three more albums today that was um put forth by a member of our six-member group here, including Nick, Scott, and Briar, who have already done theirs on Wednesday, and we're doing finishing it today, and then it'll be off to the next albums. We already got our
Yeah,
kind of our next
we've
albums
already got our
together,
albums
so
sorted for
we're gonna be
next time.
working. Got them all written down and ready to start listening to those anyway. So, but we got to finish this reviews of these albums anyways. So we're gonna start with Jacob's album actually that he brought or that he put to the group. And so I guess Jacob, you want to introduce the album and why you picked it and all that?
I'll introduce the album. The album in question is Traveler by Chris Stapleton. This is his debut studio album released in 2015. Chris Stapleton, funny thing is, Chris Stapleton was an artist that I actually introduced both to
Yeah.
Jason and Adam a couple of years ago, and we did
Yeah,
a whole live stream where we ranked his albums and shared, I think, our top 10 favorite songs. I'm sure that ranking's changed in the couple years since we did that video. So it kind of goes back to full circle talking about Traveler and introducing this album to the other members in our album exchange group, Nick, Scott, and Briar. And I'm pretty sure they all really like the album when I remembered from watching the stream the other day. But Chris Stapleton, he is a country artist, has one of the coolest beards in country music. His sound is a mix of country and southern rock, and he has a very soulful voice. And so there's a lot of influence in his music that I really like. This was a very critically acclaimed album when it came out. Um, it's been certified quadruple platinum by the RIAA. So this is a really, really big album. Garnered three singles. Had one number one song on the country chart with Tennessee Whiskey. And this was the album that kind of revived my love for country music because the mid 2010s was kind of a rough decade for country music, particularly the influx of the bro country subgenre, which combined country music and hip hop, and that's not a good mix. I don't like, uh, especially when people try to rap in country music. I don't mind, like the rap beat in particular, but I don't mind the rap beat, hip hop beat in songs. But when you try to do like these rap verses and try to sing about being country, it's really weird. I don't really care
yeah,
for that. So this album kind of revived what I love about country music into the mainstream, and that's what I love
nice.
about this album. Oh, hey, Mike, how you doing? So this album definitely did revive my love for country music when it came out. It was great seeing his career explode when he performed at the CMA Awards in 2015. He did a duet with Justin Timberlake, which was garnered a lot of acclaim. And then he won all the big awards. He won Album of the Year. He won Entertainer of the Year, and that was a big shock because before the CMAs, Chris Stapleton was unknown.
Mm-hmm.
He was known as a singer songwriter. He wrote songs for different artists, and this album had the acclaim. But all these awards wins was what put him into the mainstream and country music and music in general. And I think even your outsiders who don't really listen to country music, you'll see Chris Stapleton pop up. He's done duets with different artists. He even did a duet with Justin Timberlake on one of his recent albums, and I think it was a pretty successful single several years ago. "Say Something," which is a pretty good song. Of course, he also sung the national anthem at the Super Bowl a couple years ago. And aside from Whitney Houston, Chris Stapleton probably has my other favorite rendition of the Star Spangled Banner. He crushed that song. Now, as for this album, when we did the Stapleton video a couple years ago, I said this was my favorite Stapleton album. And re-listening to it again, I still stand by that. He's had 5 albums at this point. Man, which is weird because I criticized the Orville Peck album yesterday for having too many songs and being too long. Well, this album is 10 minutes longer than the Orville Peck album,
Yeah.
1 song less than the Orville Peck. Some of these songs are on the long side, but I am so invested by this album. I don't hate any single song on this album. I think just the production, the lyrics on these songs, Stapleton's vocals, like every song on this album is a masterclass in my opinion. Of course, the first 6 songs on the album are like just one amazing song after another. Like it's just a great 6-song run. Traveler, the title track, it just is great driving down the road song. Kind of this feel good song. I love the acoustic production, Stapleton's vocals. Fire Away is a very very depressing song, especially if you watch the music video along with it, the story that it does tell. It's a very, very powerful song. Another one of the highlights in this album. Tennessee Whiskey. This is one of the covers on the album. It was an old country standard, originally made famous by George Jones. And the George Jones version is a classic, but Stapleton took it to new heights by adding this bluesy spin on it that mixes with his raspy vocals so well. And to me, it's his song now. No, not a knock against George Jones, but when I think Tennessee Whiskey, I think Chris Stapleton. Chris Stapleton reinvented the song. And as far as I'm concerned, it's Chris Stapleton's song. It's another masterclass of a song. Parachute is this great country rock song, which has some killer vocals. Whiskey and You, one of the more heartbreaking songs on the album, on like I think, well, one, the dangers of a toxic relationship and alcoholism and how both are equally bad. That's a great acoustic ballad which relies heavily on Stapleton's vocal delivery, and it's powerful. And then you got Nobody to Blame. When we did the Stapleton video a couple years ago, I said this was my favorite Chris Stapleton song, primarily for a nostalgic reason because that was the song I heard on the radio that introduced me to Chris Stapleton and redefined my love for country music. It's a very humorous, tongue-in-cheek song. I love the old school country production behind it. Reminds me of something Waylon Jennings would sing back in like the 70s or 80s. But you got the Chris Stapleton touch to it with his killer growly vocals, which I just love. And it's still one of my favorite Stapleton songs to this day. The rest of the album's still really good as well. More of You is a great ballad. That's one of the highlight songs. I will mention the backing vocalist on all of the songs on this album, at least when there is one, is sung by a woman named Morgan Stapleton, who is the wife of Chris Stapleton. And she will often play tambourine on a lot of the songs. And she does a great job at backing up for him. And they have some great chemistry together when they sing on these songs. And More of You is definitely one of the highlights in hearing Chris and his wife sing together. I really hope they do like a full on duet at some point because Morgan is actually a professional singer in her own right. I would love for them to do a duet maybe on their next album.
That'll be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got some other good ones. When the Stars Come Out. Daddy Doesn't Pray Anymore. That's another highlight. It's one of those songs where you really have to pay attention to the lyrics. It's like, Daddy doesn't pray anymore. Daddy doesn't pray to God. That's sad. But then you get to the end of the song, it hits this subversive twist where it's like, oh, the reason Daddy doesn't pray anymore is because he died. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
that is sad. I'm like, this is another powerful song on the album. This other acoustic song, Might As Well Get Stoned. It's probably one of the weaker songs on the album. It's kind of your standard obligatory country drinking song, but Stapleton delivers it very well, and it doesn't knock my score on the album. Was It 26 is a really cool song. The longest song on the album, The Devil Named Music, which is over 6 minutes long, is another highlight on the album, showing the kind of the highs and lows of being in the music industry, and especially more so on the lows, since the song's called The Devil Named Music, how much the toll it takes from being with family and being with his wife and stuff like that. I think it's another powerful song on the album. Outlaw State of Mind, another good country rock song. But then you have this amazing album closer, Sometimes I Cry, which, again, there's a little bit of soulful influence on that one. Probably my favorite vocal delivery from Stapleton on the whole album, where he just belts that "Sometimes I cry." I mean, he's like, "Cry when I can't do nothing there." What an awesome way to close out the album, and just a fantastic selection of songs. I love there's some songs having more country flavor, others you can definitely feel the southern rock. Other times you have some bluesy soulfulness to it. It's a well crafted album. It's a very well produced album. And I dare say it's probably a contender for one of my favorite country albums, period. Uh, Curious if you guys agree with me on that or not, because I know you like some of his other albums. But as for my top five, actually, since I love the album, I'm just going to do a top 10. Number 10 is More of You. Number 9, The Devil Named Music. Number 8, Daddy Doesn't Pray Anymore. Number 7, Traveler. Number 6, Parachute. And in my top 5, number 5, Fire Away. Number 4, Sometimes I Cry. Number 3, Whiskey and You. Number 2, Tennessee Whiskey. It's crazy the two whiskey songs are right next to each other. But then number 1, my favorite song on the album is Nobody to Blame. I think that's just an awesome country song. And I'm going to score this album a 10 out of 10.
I figured.
Yeah.
You sure 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'll get my thoughts on the album.
All right. What are your thoughts, Adam?
It's actually my third favorite Chris Stapleton album. I prefer Higher to this one.
Yeah, Higher is pretty good.
I prefer his album Starting Over, which is my favorite album of his.
Yeah, that's a good one too. I think my others in my top 3 are From A Room Volume 2 and Higher. I think are in my top 3.
But this is still a brilliant album. What a fantastic debut that he has here. You start with the title track. Yeah, I really love that one. It's one of the better songs on the album. But Fire Away, that's my favourite song on the album. I think he does some of his best vocals on that one. He really holds the note for a while on that one. Yeah, I really love it. Then you got his cover of Tennessee Whiskey, which I didn't even realise it was a cover at first.
Yeah.
I've only heard his version of it. But yeah, I really love that one. And then you got Parachute, none of my favourites on the album. It's got a very catchy melody in it as well. And Whiskey and You, it's probably my least favourite song on the first side, but I still really enjoy it. They got Nobody to Blame. Yeah, I really love that one. I can see what's your favourite song on the album. And then the first half of the album ends with More of You, which I think is a beautiful ballad on the album. The second half of the album I don't like quite as much. but I still do think it's really great. You've got When the Stars Come Out, Daddy Doesn't Pray Anymore, Might As Well Get Stoned, yeah. Probably one of my least favourite songs on the album, but I still like it. What was it 26? Yeah, that was quite good. The Devil May the Devil Named Music. If I'm being honest, that's actually my least favourite song on the album. I'm not sure if it's because of the length, because it is the longest song on the album.
Hmm.
And then the second to last track, Outlaw State of Mind. Outlaw State of Mind. Yeah, I think that one's really great. Sometimes I Cry. It's my favourite song on the second half of the album. Yeah, I think Krista's just brilliant vocals on that one. You could even hear you could even hear clapping at the end of it.
Yeah, I think that was everyone listening to him in the studio just like blown away after what they just heard. And they're like, "Ooh!"
Yeah, it's cool they kept it in there,
Yeah,
but I find it quite hard to do a top three. But I've done it, and my number 3 is Parachute. My number 2, Tennessee Whiskey, and my number 1's Fire Away.
Oh, Fireway.
That's
yeah,
for the
great
score.
choice.
I'm going to give it the same rating as Higher, even though I do prefer Higher, and that's a 9.25 out of 10.
All right, good score.
Yeah.
All right. Oh yeah. First, I am the live stream king. That is for sure.
Yeah, you do a
You do a
bunch.
lot of live streams.
I've done 3 live streams in the last 2 days, and that's only because I asked Sin from Sin's Corner if she wanted to do that 20 questions thing I'm doing on my channel, and yesterday was like one of the days she could do it, so we scheduled that, and then we scheduled this afterwards. So I'm like, all right, I'll try to fit both live streams. One, there's enough of a gap I get both in, so I did both yesterday. So did a lot of live stream today, and now we got this one today. So yeah, definitely been doing a lot of live streaming. Imagine Chris Stapleton singing about whiskey and giving these meaningful lyrics, but he hates whiskey in reality.
Yeah. Huh.
That'll be interesting.
Well, the song Tennessee Whiskey is about somebody. Well, the reason why it was a powerful song when George Jones sang it, I'll highlight this. George Jones was an alcoholic, and he was in his I think his 4th marriage. And the woman that he was married to around the time Tennessee Whiskey came out was the one who helped sober him up and get his life back on track. And he probably would have died a lot earlier in his life if it wasn't for her. He passed away in 2013 and he was in his 80s.
He lived a long
Wow.
time.
Yeah. So Tennessee Whiskey is pretty much a song about how I used to be an alcoholic, but now the love of this woman is now as smooth as Tennessee whiskey. It's using alcohol as this weird analogy of a romantic relationship. That the romance is more addicting than is about as addicting as whiskey, and depending on and the way you do it, it's a lot healthier. You marry the right way, find the right woman.
I think there's a story of George Jones, having such a problem with drinking that he got his keys taken away to his truck or something. So he got on his riding lawnmower and rode it into town.
That actually is a true story.
You've heard that? Okay.
I have heard that. Yes.
I thought that was like, oh my gosh, that guy's got a problem.
Yeah. Actually, and after he sobered up, he was in on the joke, and I think there was this song. I don't know if you've heard of Vince Gill. He did a song one time where I think the line is, "She might have taken my car keys, but she forgot about my old John Deere." And then in the music video, George Jones is the one driving the John Deere.
That's
Oh my gosh, so country. Yes, we got Chris Stapleton singing today. We got Good impression of him. Yeah, so talking about Traveler by Chris Stapleton. Yeah, funny enough, we covered this album already on Jacob's channel, I think. We covered all of his albums, so yeah, coming back to this album, like, oh yeah, we covered this one a while back, I guess, and it's like, all right, we're going back to Traveler. Yeah, famously, this was my least favorite album though of his,
Oh,
and
no, really?
surprised. I know that surprised Jacob because Jacob's like, what? Like this is like his. I'm guessing this is the most famous album. Everybody loves this album, and I'm like, I'm the non-country music guy coming in going, God, I think this is like his least best one. So it's funny. Of all the ones you picked this one. So I'm like, oh, okay, we'll go back to this one, The Traveler. Um, yeah, Chris Stapleton. I kind of this guy like yeah, definitely. Even not being into country music, I heard about him. I knew he had this like really good voice. Yeah, then Jacob wanted us to go through the albums kind of, so we got introduced to me and Adam got introduced to Chris Stapleton, listened to his albums, and then we did Hyder when that came out a year or so ago. Yeah, and man, I listened to him. Man, he's got one of the best voices country music, I think, and one of the best voices. Period. I mean, it's funny we talked about uh, Orville Peck. I loved Orville Peck's voice. And then we got Chris Stapleton. I love his voice too. So it's like we got two really great voices in these two country albums. And not saying like Eric Church has got a fine voice, but it's not quite to this level as far as being able to belt belt notes out and and Chris Stapleton's very soulful. Like I think that's what maybe makes him different than most country singers I've heard. And maybe makes him somewhat of a country singer I think a non-country fan can get into. Because he's got not just country, but he's got that southern rock kind of feel to him, I guess, and that he does definitely look that way too with the beard and everything. He's got a distinct look to him as well. Yeah, I remember he did the national anthem, and I thought he did a really good job. uh, and of course, that was one that I think the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, so I was at home with watching it with my parents, and yeah, he came out and just nailed it. And it's funny, my uncle, my dad's brother, he was watching. He texted us I texted my dad and he said, man, that was a terrible national anthem. And I was like, what? That was great. And I was like, I guess that's just if you're not into country music, maybe you heard too much country in it and he didn't like it because he doesn't like country. So
I will say his voice isn't for everybody. Like
right, yeah.
my mom is not a Stapleton fan, and it's only because she's not a fan of his voice.
Oh really?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
Yes.
love his voice.
me too.
To me, that's what. Yeah, that's
That's the best part about him.
that's the best part. Yeah, it's the best part of listen to his albums, listen to his how good of a singer he is. But so that does make you think, oh, I guess if you're on the country music, there's still a divide there.
Yeah,
And I'm kind of in between. Like I like some country I don't like. I'm still kind of weary about it. I'm still trying to get into it. Um, but I was a country music fan, and I'm a big Garth Brooks fan, so that kind of helps me. But anyways, yeah, again, this album, yeah. So now I'm listening back to this album, going, oh yeah, I remember not liking this album, so I'm going to listen again, see if anything changed, anyways. And I think I like it a little bit better this time around. Now that I've given it more listens. And I need to listen to his other albums again, I suppose, to remember what they are. I remember liking some of his other albums a little bit better, though. But yeah, Traveler, the opener, man, what an amazing opener. I'm going to spoil my list, but this is the only song on the album that made it in my top 10 favorite Chris Stapleton songs. Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, this is by far my favorite song on the album. I love this song. It's one of his more fast paced or songs. It's very catchy. It's got a real good pace to it. But man, when he gets to that chorus, it's one of the best choruses, and that's why I think I love it so much. But when he goes that, I'm a traveler on the road, or something like that, bum 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 bum, and he sings the heck out of it. And there's a female singer, which I'm guessing is his wife, and
yeah,
man, good together when she sings. I love when she sings with him. They have such a great sound together. Like I want more of them just singing duets. I think I probably love an album just the duets of them too, because I always enjoy it. But the guitar playing's excellent too. It's just yeah, everything's just so good about the song. It's definitely the catchiest song on the album. That once I hear it, I start singing. I'm a traveler. It's just hard not to sing to. Um, but yeah, then Far Away was okay. Tennessee Whiskey. It's funny. I was not a fan of that when I first heard it, and then when Jacob was like, "That's like his big song," I'm like, "Oh, is it?" Like, I don't know why I couldn't get into it because it was just a little bit different. Uh, but it's funny. I feel like I've heard that song here and there when I'm out and about. I'll hear this on the radio somewhere, on like when I'm at the store or something. I'll hear the song and go, "Oh yeah, that must be that Tennessee Whiskey song I remember Jacob loving." And I'm sure that's like his biggest song probably, or it feels like that's like there's one song people know him. It's like Tennessee Whiskey, I think.
Tennessee Whiskey is his, I think it's the signature song at this point.
Song, and of course Jacob's from Tennessee, so I don't know if he knows a little thing about Tennessee Whiskey, but. Uh,
I'm not a drinker.
um,
You
but
see a lot of that pop up in the area. But I'm like, nope, nope, I ain't touching it.
that's popular drink in Tennessee, Tennessee Whiskey.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but yeah, but it's funny. And in fact, I was at the dentist and I went back to the dentist a month or so ago for the first time in like 20 some years. And so I had a bunch of work. I had to be at the dentist like every week, like for a whole month. I was at the dentist getting my teeth worked on, doing different stuff. And it sucked. And but I remember I was sitting there, you know, with my mouth open, and I heard Tennessee Whiskey on the dentist was like, "Oh, I love this song," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, this song," and I'm listening to it as they're like torturing me, and I'm like, I was like, yeah,
That's a
Go at
weird place to hear it.
home.
yeah, me just, I'm like, and I'm listening to the song, and I'm like, yeah, it's a pretty good song. It's funny. That's the first time I was like, yeah, I kind of like the song. Now that I'm hearing it as I'm being tortured on this, like, anyways, uh, yeah. So I don't know why now every time I think of Tennessee Whiskey, I think of being in the dentist chair and hearing it on the radio. But man, I mean, I think people like it so much because his vocals are so good, and he's got a lot of soul. It's like maybe it's the most soulful sounding he's ever done. I mean, it's like it's kind of it definitely highlights his voice, and I think that's what's best. The songs that highlight his voice, I think, are the best songs. Like I'm like, yeah, you know, you can be light on the guitar, light on these other instruments. Just let him go to town with his voice, and it'll carry the song. I think that's what's so cool about this because yeah, vocally, just I don't know how to explain it. The way he moves the notes and the way he sings it and the way he puts passion into it, it's really cool. I mean, the guitar playing is really good too. I really enjoy the guitar playing. But yeah, I kind of come around going, yeah, this is a pretty good song. I can see this being one of his best songs. Yeah, Parachute, I thought was okay. I feel like that was number one on a couple people's list on the other group. I
I
feel
think
like the
maybe I think it might have been Briar's favorite if I
yeah,
remember.
it's favorite. And I feel like the other people maybe mentioned it, and I was like, huh, it was okay. It wasn't my top, you know, it's not my top three or anything or honorable mention, but it's like, yeah, it was fine. I guess I don't know.
I think it was my number 3.
Yeah, it's in your top
Yeah,
three.
Yeah.
it
So
just barely missed my top 5.
yeah, so I don't know. People love that more than I do. I thought it was fine, but I don't know. Again, great. The singing is great. Whiskey and You, I thought was a really great song. This was one I didn't remember, and when I heard this, I was like, man, this is so good. It's definitely one of my favorite on the album. Again, vocally, is just again, I love it when he really showcases his vocal talent and his range and everything and his power and his voice is so good. And again, I say the same thing, but yeah, I just love the guitar playing. His vocals are so good on that song. Yeah, Nobody to Blame. I thought it was a good song. It's not in my top three, but I can see why you like it quite a bit. It was a good song. Um, More of You, I thought was a really good duet. Again, I really like his duets with his wife. I think sound really good. And there was like a mandolin sounding in there. I think Brian pointed it out when he did his review, and I thought that's what I put in my notes. I thought there was a mandolin in there. I really like the sound of the mandolin in a song. Sounds really good. Anyways, yeah. Then I'm just gonna cut to Daddy Doesn't Pray Anymore. Man, that is such a good song. That's one song that I really came back to and go, man, that song is so good. And yeah, lyrically, it's like a heartbreaking song. it's definitely one of the songs that I really listened to the lyrics because it seemed very deep. It seemed like a very deep song about, yeah. It's funny when I first heard it, it was like, oh, is this about his dad losing faith in God? Like, what a sad, song. Um, and again, I think it's his best lyrics on the whole album. I just love the lyrics on the song. And it's a very, more soft, more acoustic ballad type song, I guess. And yeah, it's just, man, you really listen to all the lyrics and you go, man, this is really good. And then when I heard it again, I thought, wait a minute, at the end he died? Like I didn't hear that the first time, but the second time I thought, so did he not lose his faith in God? Is it not about that? And then you seem to confirm that. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe it's just about he can't pray anymore because he's with God now, So that's kind of a nice ending. I'm like, okay, that's kind of sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, like the whole song builds up, you think, oh, he lost his faith. That's why he doesn't pray. But then the build up, the reason why he doesn't is because he died.
Yeah, so that it makes it better because I was like, man, I hate to hear someone lose their faith. That sucks. Um, but yeah, just so many good stuff about going through good times, going through bad times, and Dad was always on his knees praying. For a Christian, that's like that's a good thing to hear. Sometimes it's hard to pray during bad times, and it's a good reminder to you always have to pray during bad times too. Um, okay, after those 9 songs, I would say I'm really enjoying this album. I don't know. These last 5 songs, I did not like these songs. I don't know what it was, but maybe it's just because the album started getting a little long for me, and I was starting to get a little tired of the songs, and I don't know. I was enjoying it for the most part, but then I don't know. The last 5, I'll just say, didn't like them. It really hurt the album that it ended on those 5 songs, and I was kind of like listening to each one, going, I'm just kind of bored with these songs. And again, it's probably a little too long. Yeah, 14 songs, hour or whatever. Just like
Yeah,
Bronco,
it's a bit of a long album.
it felt like it dragged on for me, and unfortunately, it kind of left me. And maybe that's why I didn't like it the first time. I don't remember why I didn't like it the first time, just because I was into country music really too much. But this time around, I'm like trying to get into it, but then I was like, I don't know. I just could not get into those last 5 songs. They just didn't. I didn't enjoy them. They just kind of put the whole album down for me. I would say after the 9th song, I'd be like, this is a 9 out of 10 album. But it kind of went down after because you had so many songs in a row that I didn't enjoy. That really hurts. If you can have a bad song here and there, I can get through it. If you have a good song surrounding the bad songs, but then when you can put 5 of them right in a row, I'm like, oh my god, like this is really dragging for me, unfortunately. So I guess I come away again not enjoying it quite as much as everybody else because of that. But I'll get to my top 3 here. And I will say Tennessee Whiskey was an honorable mention. Didn't make him a top 3, but I definitely like that song a lot more now. More of You also made my honorable mention. I thought that was a really good song. But number 3, I'm going with Whiskey and You. Number 2, Daddy Doesn't Pray Anymore. And number 1, like I said, Traveler. Traveler is by far my favorite song on here. One of my favorite songs of his. It's a top 10 song for me. It's so good and catchy and all that. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with a 7.5 out of 10. It didn't quite make it into the 8 like recommendable stage. Like still like not quite recommendable for me. Not an album I really would go back to all that much, except for a couple songs I'll put on my playlist, of course, and listen to those, and all that. But yeah, sorry, I'm a little bit low, still a low point on this country music, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Well, you
But
gave it a half point higher than my score for Broncos. I guess I'll take what I can get.
yeah, I had Bronco 5. I was kind of similar on both of them. Bronco, I like just a little bit more. I guess there's a couple more songs I liked more, I think, than this album. But
What's the average for this album?
All right. Well, what are the other scores?
Barr gave it an 8.5,
Uh,
5, and Nick gave it an 8.
what was Scott's again?
9.5.
9.5. Okay.
That
So
should be.
it might be like an
That by
8.5 again.
6. 8.79. We'll round it to 8.75.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been the best reviewed album so far. I can kind of see everybody. Yeah, gave it. No one gave it a 6. So
Yeah,
the
there's
other
6
album.
or 2 out of 10 for this one.
the other album, somebody will give like a 6, and it'll kind of ruin the score.
Yeah.
Like that. So not too bad. Again, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy for thinking that his other albums are better, but I don't know. uh, Chris Stapleton fans probably think I'm crazy. Like, what? You're crazy. Traveler is so good.
He hasn't had a poorly received album, so I think you're good.
Yeah. I will say, if I ever made it a country music album, I would call it. I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, I'm calling it Whiskey and Jesus. If that hasn't been taken yet,
Yeah, it's got
I don't know if the
Whiskey
album's.
and Jesus. Tim McGraw had a song about 20 years ago called "Drugs Are Jesus." So
So I feel like if I named it Whiskey and Jesus, it would sell like hotcakes. Country music fan would be like, "Oh, this gotta be good. Whiskey and Jesus, come on."
Whiskey and Jesus.
the two
Uh,
the, the two staples of country music, Whiskey and Jesus.
they love to sing about whiskey, and they love to sing about Jesus.
Hey, Anthony,
that one.
good to see you.
Perez.
So cool to see you on here.
Yeah, that's cool.
You like to hear us talk about some music? All right, next we're gonna go with old Blue Eyes, the chairman himself, Mr. Frank Sinatra, with "Strangers in the Night."
Strangers in the Night.
And this album was brought to us by Nick. Nick is really into the crooner music of the 60s. And so it's the second album in a row that we get. Last time it was Dean Martin. Now we're going to get Frank Sinatra, who's probably the most famous crooner of all time. One of the most famous singers of all time. This album came out in 1966. So we're going to talk about one of his big albums. This is, I think, one of his big albums, I would say. Probably one of the most famous albums. So let's go to you, Jacob, for your thoughts on Mr. Sinatra here.
So yeah, I was really excited to cover this album, especially after really loving the Dean Martin album we covered last month. I think that the Dean Martin album was my favorite album we covered last month. That wasn't my pick.
Oh, yeah.
So Frank Sinatra, I do love a lot of his music. Just from what I've listened to, he has a lot of iconic jazz standards, and he's also a pretty good actor as well. So very prolific in both fields.
Yeah.
And we're starting to go through a series on Nick's channel, reviewing all the Frank Sinatra albums. I will say I've listened to his first two studio albums back in the late 40s.
Oh, wow.
They are not the best. Let's just put it that way. They are some of the slowest sounding songs you'll ever hear, and they get very samey after a while.
Yeah.
So, so then I listened to this album, Strangers in the Night, and let's just say this album has one of the best two punches I've ever heard in an album. You open up with Strangers in the Night. That's a movie that's a song I'm already familiar with. That's one of Frank Sinatra's biggest hits. If I remember, I think this song won the Grammy for Record of the Year, Song of the Year, something like that. Great song.
Yeah.
In its own right. I love the string production on it. I love the vocals. Strangers in the night. Do, 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 strangers in the night. I do have a personal story with that song I'll share. At my first job that I ever worked at, I worked at Walmart at one point. I had a coworker who would always sing and hum this song whenever he works. And so this song would be stuck in my head all the time because he kept humming Strangers in the Night because it was like his favorite song. And so I always think of my coworker whenever I hear this song. It's probably my favorite Frank Sinatra song, if I'm being honest. It's so good. I love the key change at the end. I love it when he goes doobie doobie doo at the end. And supposedly that was one of the things that inspired the Scooby Doo character.
Yeah.
Because they kept going Scooby Dooby Doo.
Scooby Dooby Doo.
And then you follow that up with Summer Wind, and that's another great jazz song. This Frank commands the vocals, the summer wind rolling in, and then you got that awesome brass accompanying him. It's another awesome song. Those are the two best songs on this album. Then you have All or Nothing at All, another great jazz song. All or Nothing at All. The brass kicking in again on that one. That one's another really good one. Call Me. Not the Blondie song. This is a different Call Me.
Call me.
Call me. Call.
It's like it's a lot slower. You still got the horns on there, and he's like, "Call me, just call me." I'm like, man, I'm vibing to this one too. This is another great song on the album. Then we got "You're Driving Me Crazy," another really catchy song. Probably one of the weaker songs on the album, but I still really like it. Then we have probably the I think slowest song on the album production wise, and that's On a Clear Day, You Can See Forever. And that might be my favorite vocals on the album. I think he really belts it on that one. And I really like the lyrics that song paints. I think it's a very beautifully crafted song. My least favorite is My Baby Just Cares for Me, but I still think it's a good track. I just prefer the other songs on the album. Oh, I love the last three songs. I definitely got to highlight. Downtown. I had heard this song before, but not Frank Sinatra singing it. It was a big hit for an artist named Petula Clark.
Mm-hmm.
I have never liked her version of that song. So I kept thinking,
really?
This Downtown is a horrible song. I just find it so
really?
annoying in the way she sings it. It goes down, 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 it goes down. Like, this song is annoying. I'm like, who likes this song? This is
I like that song.
I love that song. What are you talking about?
oh really? So it must be a hot take.
It was a huge hit. Yeah.
The Frank Sinatra version slaps. I love his version of this song. I love the jazziness behind it. I'm like, and it just dawned on me the reason. It's like it was always a good song. It just needed to be sung by a good artist. And I love the Frank Sinatra version. I like how self-aware he is in the lyrics. Like even he kind of pokes fun at the song itself. I think there's this one line in the second verse, like going down to the movie show. He's like, downtown.
I don't
I don't
remember
know if
that
he
bit.
improvised that while singing it, but I thought that addition to the song made it stand out to me, and it's one of the highlights on the album. Then we got Yes Sir, That's My Baby. Yes Sir, I don't mean maybe. That's another catchy song on the album. And the album closer is really good too. The Most Beautiful Girl in the World. Probably the fastest moving song on the album.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like I would not want to do a workout to this song. It would be stressful because the way that it's what's going. The most beautiful girl in the world. I'm like, oh man, I would not want to work out to this song. No, but it's still a great song, and it's an awesome way to close out the album. So, top five. I won't say The Most Beautiful Girl in the World, All or Nothing at All, and Yes Sir, That's My Baby are my three honorable mentions. They were so close to making the top five. This is a very stacked list. My top five, number five is On a Clear Day. Number four, Call Me. Number three, Downtown. And then number two, Summer Wind. Number one, Strangers in the Night. That one is too classic of a Frank Sinatra song to
What was
not
number
make my
three?
number one.
What
Number
was number
three,
three?
number three was Downtown.
All right, cool.
I got Downtown on the top three. And as for my score on the album, this is getting another 10 out of 10 for me. Out of all of the albums that I listened to on this exchange, it's not mine. This one was my favorite. So Nick is 2 for 2 on the album exchange.
Well done, Nick.
Gosh.
Yeah.
We'll see what Adam says, but this might be the best reviewed album because everybody's giving it really good reviews, except for me. Whenever it gets to me,
I'll be giving it a really good review.
Spoiler alert! But it was unpredictable. I knew Jason's the least jazzy guy of the bunch.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm gonna be the odd one, but we'll see what Adam says here.
Yeah. I'm gonna be with Jacob. I really love this album.
Yeah.
The first time I heard it was on vinyl. I bought it not that long ago,
Huh.
and it was only £2.
Nice.
I heard it and really loved it.
I never see Frank Sinatra albums when I go look at vinyl. Interesting.
I've seen a few.
The only Frank Sinatra I see in stores are compilation albums.
Yeah, maybe compilation, but yeah.
If you start off with Strangers in the Night, one of my favourite Frank Sinatra songs. Yeah, I really love it. It's a classic. It's one I never get tired of. But it was actually from a film called A Man Could Get Killed.
A man could get killed.
Oh,
I have no idea what it's about.
yeah.
I'm curious.
Found
Oh,
out on
I see the
Wikipedia.
Wikipedia page now.
Does a
A
man get?
man could get killed.
Does he or not?
Apparently, it stars. Apparently, James Garner's the lead actor in it.
Yeah, a man could get killed. That's accurate, I guess.
That's wild.
But yeah, I really love that one. And Summer Wind, another one I really love. That's a top 10 Frank Sinatra song for me. But I'm also in agreement with Jacob that the first two songs are the best songs on the album. There you go, All or Nothing at All. Yeah, I really enjoy that one. There you go, Call Me. Yeah, I really love that one. And then the first side ends with You Driving Me Crazy. Probably my least favourite song on the first side, but I still think it's great. The second side you got On a Clear Day You Can See Forever. Yeah, I think that one's really good. My bit, but Baby Just Cares for Me. Yeah, I think that one's pretty great. I love his version of Downtown, but I do prefer the Pacino Clark version, if I'm being honest. But I love his different version, different take of the song. Then you got Yes Sir, That's My Baby. One of the catchiest songs on the album. I've heard this song before. I listened to the album, but I'm not quite sure what version I was familiar with. But yeah, I really love that one. It's very catchy. And then it ends with the fastest song on the album, The Most Beautiful Girl in the World, which, if I'm being honest, is actually my least favourite song on the album.
Oh, really?
I think it moves me a bit too quickly. But yeah, it's not even a very long album. It's only not even half an hour, I don't think. So I think it's a very consistent album. It's not my favourite Frank Sinatra album, though. My favourite is actually Come Fly With Me. But I'll get through my top three. So number 3, Yes Sir, That's My Baby. Number 2, Summer Wind. And number 1, Strangers in the Night. And I'm going to give it a 9.5.
9.5.
Hey, 9.5. All right.
Holy
Yeah.
cow. Jeez.
That's gonna be the biggest question on this album exchange. Is Adam ever gonna give a 10 on one of these albums?
No, he never gives a 10.
It could change next time, but not for this one, though.
He's like, this is one of my favorite albums, 9.75. I'm like, what? Give it a 10.
I don't know if I'll be giving any 10s in this exchange.
Gosh, man, just to look at this list, everybody has it a 9.5 or 10 up to this point. It's 9.5, 9.5, 10, 9.5, 10. So we got 2 10s and 2 9. Right? With 3 9.5s and 2 10s on this
What, for
album.
this album? Wow.
I don't understand you guys. What is going on here? What do you guys list? What do you guys hear in this album? Yeah, Stranger Than Night. Funny thing about this album to me is that he comes out with this album. And he also comes out with another album, which I don't remember on top of my mind right now. But the other album won Album of the Year.
Wow.
But he had another album that's not as good as this album, or not as, I don't think it's reviewed as well as this album, I don't think. And it won like the Grammy Album of the Year. And you're talking about a year where Revolver and Pet Sounds came out and Sinatra won, which is, to me, one of the most criminal things the Grammys have ever done. Like, how do you give the Album of the Year to Sinatra over Beach Boys and the Beatles?
The album that won is called A Man and His Music.
And his music. Yeah. And I've heard that album before, and I didn't like that album either, but of course. But anyway, so this is insane that Sinatra's even in the conversation with the Beatles or the Beach Boys in '66, where they're revolutionizing music. Sinatra is an old guy from the '50s. Anyways, and yeah, Stranger Than Night won like record of the year. So I mean, gosh, Sinatra is still very popular at this time. But he's really was like, yeah, in like what late '40s into '50s. I mean, so he's been around for a while already at this point. I mean, he's not an upcoming, guy. He's been around forever. But he is one of the most famous singers. So I guess he still had a fandom amongst that group. But anyways, again, this is old crooner music. It came out in '66, but Sinatra's from the '50s, '40s kind of music, which is not music I listen to. I don't really listen to music past, before the '55 or so. That's when rock and roll really kind of came into being, and rock and roll music started getting good around '55 or so. So like, I don't know, you're talking about this really old, boring style of music, and it's this old crooner style that I'm just never been into.
Thank you.
It's either slow and boring. It's just this very slow, boring style, or it's jazzy, and I don't like jazzy. So if you get jazzy, I'm like, oh gosh, I hate this jazzy stuff. And then you get this more slow, boring stuff. I don't know. To me, it's like the most boring music ever, and I can't believe you guys all give it 10s and 9.5s. I don't get it. Like I'm beside myself. Like I don't. I'm listening to something different than you guys, or I have just a different taste of music. I guess I don't know. So getting to the album. Strangers Than Night, yeah, it's a pretty good song. It's a classic. I'll give it credit. It's definitely one I've heard many times before. It's like, yeah, he's got a good voice. It's fairly well done. Yeah, Strangers in the Night. Yeah, it's a nice melody overall. So yeah, that's a good one. Summer Wind. I know I've heard this kind of. I don't know if I've ever heard the whole song before, but I know I've heard like bits of the song before somewhere. That yeah, Summer Wind comes crashing in or something like that. It means the waves. Yeah, whatever. That part is like fine. The rest of the song is pretty boring. I think it's kind of a boring song. Um, Even though I know it's like a big hit of his, I think. All or Nothing at All is so boring. It's just oh my gosh, really boring.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I did not care for that. Call Me was fine. That was a fine song. You're Driving Me Crazy, I thought was fine. Don't remember too much about him. On a Clear Day, You Can See Forever. Yeah, it's probably my least favorite song. It's so boring. Those two songs, All or Nothing, On Clear Day Forever, are definitely the two worst songs. They're so boring. Bored out of my tears. Yeah, bored out of my mind. Bored to tears. Whatever you want to say. Um, see, number 7, My Baby Just Cares for Me. I thought was fine. Downtown. I really like this. I was like, Sinatra doing Downtown? Like, what is going on here? Yeah, because I'm a big fan of the Petula Clark one. I've always loved that as a kid. I've heard that on the radio, and yeah, that Downtown, bum 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 down. Great melody. She kind of more belted out. It's funny. First time hearing this Sinatra, I was like not a big fan because I was like, oh, this is not as good as Petula Clark because she really belted out while Sinatra goes downtown. Like it's such a contrast of like the way they sing it. One is elongates the word downtown. He goes downtown, and I'm like, Sinatra, why don't you elongate that word? That's the like the best part of the song when you do the downtown and he's. But it is a catchy song, and it has an overall good melody. So even Sinatra, I think, sings it pretty good, and it's a pretty fun song. Um, Yes, Sir, That's My Baby. Yeah, that's the catchiest song on the whole album. I was like, man, do more of this, Sinatra. Do these more catchy numbers. Like, I enjoy this a lot. As you were singing, yeah, oh my gosh, when you start hearing that, yes, sir, that's my baby. No, sir, don't mean maybe, or something like that. Oh, yeah, super catchy. Love singing to it. It's like Sinatra does slow, but I love it when he does these more swinging. He can do kind of a catchy swinging number. Because I like songs like, I Did It My Way is probably my favorite song of the Sinatra's. I think it's so good. But I love songs like New York, New York, what a heck of a town. But like, I don't know. If it's a little, you got some. If it's not slow and it's a little swinging catchiness to it, Sinatra can do good. Um, but anyway, so yeah, I like that song quite a bit. And then 10, The Most Beautiful Girl in the World. Yeah, it was a pretty good song to end the album. Again, yeah, the most fast paced song on the album itself. But yeah, so again, to my top three. Number three, I got Strangers in the Night. Like Jacob said, it's like too iconic not to put in my top three. It's just one of his big hits, I think. Number two, Yes Sir, That's My Baby. Definitely one of the best songs I've heard from him. And number one, Downtown. I really like Downtown. It's just, I just can't get over it. Like I didn't think that was going to be my number one, but as I kept going back to it, I'm like, I just love hearing Downtown. It's just so catchy.
Oh, wow.
So, and I think you had to, somebody had it maybe in their top three. I can't remember.
It
Or
was my number 3.
yeah, so
It'll be in my number 4.
number four, yeah. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed it because I was like, oh man, I really enjoyed Downtown. And I know, Yes Sir, of course, we all like Strangers in the Night. I think that's the consensus. Um, but anyways, yeah, overall, I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. The same as I gave Dean Martin's album. It's the same. It's a boring crooner album with a couple good numbers in there. Like there's, I'd generally say there's 3 like pretty good songs, and I put it in my top 3. I felt the same way about Dean Martin. There was like maybe 3 good songs on the album that I put in my top 3, but outside of that, I wouldn't listen to any personally.
So besides your 6, it was 2 10s and 3 9.5s. Is that correct?
Yes, 10, 10, 3 9.5s, and then me 6. Like I.
So what's the average?
So the average is, even with your 6, it's a 9 out of 10.
10. Okay, yeah, okay. So this is.
But it still gets a high score, which is
So-
good.
Wow,
Yeah.
so this even scored higher than
Scored higher than Stapleton.
Traveler. I was not expecting this to be the big album in the exchange. And I think the Dean Martin album did pretty good too. I think it got some good got some good scores too. I don't know. You guys, everybody's just into the crooner music, I guess, and it's just me.
Yeah.
That's all I
like that sort of music.
It's not my go-to genre, but I do like the sound, especially if you mix it with a good song.
Yeah, I've got to be in the mood for that type of music.
Yeah.
Like I have one Frank Sinatra best of album, and I don't think it's even that good of a best of album. I'd love to get a really good greatest hits album from Frank Sinatra. I probably would enjoy that more than just a regular album. But anyway, so all right, now we're gonna end with we're going to actually have this album because I like this album. So
Going all the way to the 90s.
Human Clay by Creed. We're going back to the 90s rock music. And this, of course, was an album Scott put together or brought to us because Scott really likes 90s rock music now. So,
well, there is a Scott who did put this album together. The lead singer is Scott Stapp.
Yeah,
lead singer's name's Scott.
You're partly right.
Partly right. But I mean, Scott in our group is the one who picked this album. And yeah, he's been picking two months in a row. He's picked a 90s rock album. And I was listening to music in the 90s, so I'm kind of like I kind of enjoy what Scott's putting on the Nick's putting these 60s crooner albums that are boring me to tears, but then Scott's bringing me back with these 90s rock albums. So we're going to end with this album. What do you think, Jacob?
All right, so I knew a little bit of Creed. I didn't listen to these songs when it came out, even though I was like, let's see, this came out, 99? So I was about 4 years old when this came out, but I didn't listen to this type of music growing up. Of course, I was raised on country, so I didn't listen to Creed growing up. I think the closest thing I listened to that was rock and roll was Elvis. So it wasn't until I was experimenting with more music as a teenager when I first listened to Creed. I think the first Creed song I ever heard was "With Arms Wide Open," which is on this album. Really liked it. And then, of course, I've heard "Higher" on the radio before, which is also on this album. So you got the 2 biggest Creed songs and the only 2 Creed songs that I've heard before listening to this album. So I'm like, okay, I'm curious how Creed would work as an album. I know there's this stigma with Creed. I've seen it's kind of a weird divide among music listeners among Creed, where some people put Creed as this really awesome, underrated rock band, and they have some banger songs. And then you have others that say Creed is one of the worst bands in rock history, and they help bring the rock genre to its death. And they're compared to Nickelback, even among some music critics. So I'm like, okay, I'm curious where I'm going to fall on this. I'm in the camp where I really like this album. I will say the one thing I will preface going in, Scott Stapp, the lead vocalist. When hearing him sing, he's very similar to Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam. Like, you can make that comparison.
Yeah.
They have similar sounding vocals. I like some of Pearl Jam stuff, but a lot of Pearl Jam songs, I cannot understand what the heck Eddie Vedder is saying. He mumbles a lot. When he sings, "Oh, I'm running
Right.
I'm still alive."
I prefer his
That's
solo
all.
career.
But Scott Stapp, he sounds similar, but he sings a lot clearer though. So I guess Scott Stapp, is a better singer than Eddie Vedder, just slightly. I had to make those comparisons, but not a knock on Pearl Jam, because Pearl Jam does have some good songs. But back to this album. You have a really good two-punch of album openers. You got "Are You Ready," which apparently was a hit song. I didn't. This is my first time hearing it, listening to the album. It's just this great rock song. It's got the guitar riffs going, and you really like your album opens where he's like, "Are you ready? Are you ready?" I'm like, I guess. Am I ready to hear a good rock album? I guess so. You picked a good song to open up the album.
Yeah.
I was vibing. I was actually driving in my car when I first listened to the album. I'm like, I'm vibing to this. This is awesome. And then you follow that up with "What If," which is probably one of the heavier rock songs on the album. Come to find out, this song was in the soundtrack to Scream 3. And I watched all the Scream movies. I don't remember this song in the movie, so it must have just been like an end credit song, maybe. I don't know. But I, listen to the song again. I'm like, this is another great song on the album. I love the way Scott sings on it. What if? What if? It's another great chorus. I like the way the guitar riffs, the drums on these songs are pretty good. I'll just go through some of the highlights that I really liked. "Say I" was another song I really liked. "Faceless Man," that's a great deep cut. I just love the way Scott sings on that one, and it's another really strong rock song that I really like. "Never Die" is another one. Really belted on that one. Then we'll get to the two hit singles, like the two really, really big ones. "With Arms Wide Open," which probably the biggest crossover hit Creed ever had. I think it was a #1 hit on the Hot 100, if I remember correctly, when doing research. Man, what a great song. And I didn't really realize the lyrical connection of the song, because it's written, Scott Stapp wrote it after he found out he was going to be a father. And then when you get the context in place, it's a much more powerful song. And I love the mix where you got like the guitars and the drums, what you want out of a rock ballad, plus the strings with it. And it's a beautiful combination. And I love the way Scott sings the song, even though I think you can a part of me kind of makes fun of his vocals, because like, "We all wide open." But I still love the way he sings on it though. The song comes out of pure love. I love that he tackled something that meant something to him and reflected it in this song, and it's easily the biggest highlight on this album. Then you follow that up with "Higher." That's another great Creed song. I love the guitar work on that, and probably has the most singable chorus out of all of the Creed songs, where it's like, "Can you take me higher to the place where blind men see?" Like, I'm like, man, I love this song too. So you got the. I kind of went. If those were the last two songs on the album, I probably would have given it a 10. There's a couple songs on this album that I'm not as crazy about. Beautiful is just kind of a there song for me. Inside Us All is not the best album closer. It's actually my least favorite song on the album.
Yeah.
But overall, really strong collection of rock songs. There's some good guitar riffs. I do like the vocal work. There's some memorable songs on here. Yeah, I can see why this is a favorite album. I'm glad Scott picked it. This is another strong album in the album exchange. So, moving into the top 5, where is it? Never Die is an honorable mention, along with Wash Away Those Years. I forgot to mention that one. That's another pretty good song on the album. But my top 5, number 5 is What If. Number 4 is Are You Ready? Number 3, Faithless Man. Number 2, Higher. And my number 1 song on the album, it's probably the cliched choice, but it's With Arms Wide Open.
With arms wide open.
Such a good song. And I'm going to give this album a 9 out of 10.
Nice.
Yeah. I'll give my thoughts on the album.
Adam?
I really love it. In fact, I like it more than Scott's other pick with Soundgarden. Yeah, you start off with Are You Ready? Yeah, a really excellent album opener. You got What If? Yeah, that one's really great as well. The Beautiful. Yeah, I really love that one. Say I. Yeah, I think that one's great. Wrong Way. Yeah, I really love that one. Faceless Man. I really love that one. It's one of my favorites on the album. Then you got Never Die. Yeah, I think that one's pretty good. Then you got With Arms Wide Open and Higher. They're both my favorite songs on the album. They're probably the ones that I'd go back to on the album. Probably those two and Faceless Man. But I really love the final 2 songs on the album.
Really?
Watch Away Those Years and Inside Us All. Even though they're the longest songs on the album. Well, I think Watch Away Those Years is the longest song. But I think the album ends better than it begins, actually. But number 3 is Faceless Man. Number 2, Higher. And number 1, With Arms Wide Open.
Okay.
And I'm going to give this a 9.25.
9.25.
All right.
It was better than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, gosh. All right. As you can tell, I have this album. I bought this album before Scott ever put it on the exchange. Because this isn't the album I bought back in '99, but I did buy the album back in '99, but I don't have that version anymore. But I rebought this because I saw it like at Walmart, I think, or something like that. I saw it somewhere and bought it. I was like, oh yeah, Human Clay. I really like that album. Like that was one of my favorite albums in the '90s period. And yeah, for me, of course, I'm the one in the group that I was really into Creed back in that day because I was right at the right age to really get into the music, the '90s music. Because I was like a freshman in high school, maybe around this time this album came out. So so I was probably getting close to 15 or so, or 16 or yeah, 15. I was like 15 or something like that at this time. Um, just to tell you, like, yeah, my age. So yeah. And I remember, yeah, the first Creed album came out, My Own Prison, I believe it's called. And I remember that being a big album. And the song My Own Prison, really good song. And I remember that being a huge hit on the radio. And that's what really got me into Creed, was hearing that song over and over on the radio and going, man, that's one of my favorite songs at the time. And I thought Scott Stapp had a great voice. I love his voice. I think he has one of the best vocalists in rock music. To me, I like him much better than Eddie Vedder. I agree. Eddie Vedder is too mumbly. I didn't feel that way by Scott. I feel like I can hear his lyrics and understand what he's singing. So I don't quite get the comparison, but I know people, yeah, compare him to Eddie Vedder, I guess. I'm like, I like him a lot more. But I'm not a big Pearl Jam guy. So, anyways, yeah, so I remember this album coming out, the second album, Human Clay, is coming out. Oh, man, I was excited. I was like, oh, man, I'm definitely getting this album. And I did. When it came out, I got it. And I think even before it came out, Higher was a huge hit on the radio. I remember, I used to listen to the radio a lot at that time, and I remember, being like, "All right, here's the new single, the album Human Clay," and then you get Higher, and I remember being, "Oh my gosh, this is so good!" Like I was so excited for this album because I was like, "Oh my gosh, I already heard one song, I thought it was amazing," and it was a great hit on the radio. And I used to watch the music videos. I used to always watch VH1, so I do remember watching the music video on this. Was really good too. Anyway, so yeah, when this came out, yeah, I got it, listened to it the heck out of it, loved it when it came out. Anyways, and by the way, I really love the artwork on this the cover. I think it was really cool. And then even the inside, it's got some cool artwork of these kids like these clay kids like. And then you even look at the CD itself. Uh, oops. The CD itself I like. It's kind of got a clock
That's cool.
design to it. So I don't know. I even like the CD design. Some CDs don't do anything, but that one I thought that's a pretty cool design. Anyways, I'm going on about Creed. This isn't even the album I put on the exchange, and I'm just, you can tell I've been a big fan of this. It's funny, yeah. I remember later on people are like, "Oh, Creed is terrible." I'm like, "What are you talking about? They were huge. Like, I liked them. All my friends liked them. We all listened to Creed
Yeah, it's an amazing album.
and when I was in high school, the first three albums they were all big albums. I thought, and we all liked it, and they were all over the radio. So I don't get why they're so hated now. All of a sudden, there's like this. It's like popular to like hate on them, and I don't get it. I thought they were rocking out. They're a rocking band. I mean, anyways, get into the album. Uh, yeah, I agree. Are You Ready is such a good opener. It's like, man, you couldn't get a better opener. Yeah, it's like, are you ready for this album? Yeah, but yeah, it's rocking. Again, I think the guitar playing is really good on this album. I think I forget his name, but Scott talked about it when they talked about it Wednesday. And yeah, I think he's one of the best rock guitar players of the 90s period, 2000s period, whatever. He's got some great riffs on this album, anyways. But yeah, this first one starts so rocking. Man, it gets you right into the album. Are you ready for more? Bum, bum. I mean, it's just, what a great opener. Yeah, number two, What If? Yeah, I remember first time hearing this because this wasn't a hit on the radio, and I remember you hear this. It's like got like this cool like little guitar kind of riff or guitar picking at the beginning, and also it goes ba bum da 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 da, and you're like, oh, like that was such a cool guitar, ba bum, and you're like, oh, we're in for a rocking song. Yeah, this is the heaviest song on the album, I think, and I really enjoyed it. And again, Scott Stapp, whatever, has such a great vocal, I think, on here. Yeah, as Jacob was pointing to the best part is when he's doing that, what if I, and he does that like over and over again, and then gets into that chorus, what if I something, what if I, yeah, it's a great rock song. Beautiful, I think, is a great song. It's another really good song on the album. I guess you didn't like it as much as I did, but I thought it was, to me, the first three is like, wow, those, that's a really strong beginning to the album. Those first three songs, and some of my favorite on the album. Yeah, then like, and I'll just skip through some of these songs because they're all pretty good. Say I, Wrong Man, Fight's Just Man is. I think everybody really likes that song. That seems to be the favorite like deep cut on the album. Never Die. Yeah, they're all pretty decent songs overall. And then I'll just cut to With Arms Wide Open. Yeah, that became like the second big hit on the album. And if you've ever seen the music video, it's like he's outside in like this really kind of, it's like stormy and it starts raining on them, and they're outside this really like pretty like background, like this, like he's like, it feels like kind of secluded background. He's like sitting on this huge rock and there's like a green field behind him, and he kind of becomes famous because he loves doing the Jesus pose where he does this. Like every music video you see him in, he does that was really popular at the time. I think people make fun of him, of course, for it, but he's a little over dramatic. But yeah, I think it's the best written song done. And Scott, I think the singer does write the songs. He does. He is a pretty good songwriter. But yeah, it's a sweet song about being a father for the first time. Or I love the guitar playing that dun 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 the really good picking guitar with it's a very kind of ballad type song. Yeah, he's like I heard the news today, ba bum bum bum. It's really sweet, and then with arms wide open, welcome to this place. I'll give you everything. He's already talking about like he's so excited for this newborn and he's gonna do everything he can to it's just a really nice sweet song and really well sung. Yeah, it's definitely one of his best songs. One of my favorite Creed songs for sure. Yeah, then Higher. I already talked about Higher. It's got some of the great guitar playing on the album. Yeah, I love the beginning, and then the verses are so good. The melody overall. Um, I'm trying to think of it in my head here, but because it's hard not thinking of the chorus. Chorus is definitely the highlight of the. Can you take me higher? And then like that. Oh, that's the best part of the song.
That's I agree.
Oh,
That
when you
is
see
the best part
higher,
of
and
it.
then that guitar. Oh, it's so catchy.
I think it's the best guitar part of the album.
Yeah, I agree. It's how can you not like this song? It's definitely. I think even Nick liked the song, and Nick hated this album. But anyways, um, we'll get to that here. But yeah, uh, oh, dreaming, just a great melody overall. Yeah, I love that song. Definitely, and I haven't heard that song in a long time. And when I heard it on the CD, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that song's so good! I forgot how good that song is." Definitely one of my favorites of his. Then the last two, I think, maybe are the weakest songs on the album. I wasn't as big on them.
I'm the only one that loved those two songs.
I guess you liked them a lot more than we did. um, yeah, and so overall, it's a really good '90s rock album in my opinion. I guess we called it alternative rock, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
To me, it was kind of hard rock for me. '90s was more hard rock stuff in there. I used to really be into that in the '90s, but anyway, so getting to my top three, I will say What If and Beautiful and Faceless Man, I would put as my honorable mentions. Didn't quite make it into my top three. But number three is Are You Ready? Yeah, great rock
Are
opener.
you ready?
So good. Number two, I'm going with Arms Wide Open. I'm actually going to that number two. Number one, I'm going with Higher. And it's so close. I could go with Arms Wide Open. It could be my number one. It's so hard to pick number one between those two. They are definitely the top two. And I think we all agree those are the top two songs on the album. I think
Yeah.
we all really like those two. And those are the two huge hits on the album. So it makes sense. I can go with either one. But right now I'm going with Higher. It's just the guitar playing, just how catchy that chorus is. Definitely the song that I sang to the most, I think, when I was listening to this again. Anyways, my score, I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. So not quite giving the 10, even though I really love this album. I don't know, I'm not quite there yet to give it the 10. Um, but still, man, what a great rock album of the '90s period. And I really liked Super Unknown. I gave that a 9 out of 10. So and I never heard that album before. So man, Scott's really getting me back into '90s rock with these two albums. I'm like, I need to go back to the '90s and listen to more rock albums because uh, maybe it's because I grew up in the '90s. It's kind of like this is music of my childhood. Anyway, so but yeah,
Now
I
it's the
remember.
average.
I remember Nick gave it a 2.
Nick,
Yeah.
Nick, what are you doing?
What did you give it again, Jacob?
I gave it a 9.
Yeah,
Uh,
God gave
oh,
it a
Scott gave it a 10.
Briar gave it a 7.
Briar gave it a 7. All right. So we average that up.
2.
It's at a 7.79. So we're going to say,
An 8.
yeah, let's do 8.
Yeah. I think I got an 8 overall as well.
I mean, it's so crazy. We have us three. We gave it 9.25, 9.5. We all
Yeah.
gave it 9 above.
Briar, Briar,
You loved it.
Briar and Nick brought it down.
Well, Nick gave it a 2. Man,
Nick,
harsh, Nick.
I'm not giving any
that's the
album a two.
that's the same rating I gave Presents by Led Zeppelin.
I didn't like Frank Sinatra, but I gave it a 6. 2 out of 10. That's crazy. I don't know. That's way below everybody. I mean, even Breyer gave it a 7, and I don't think he liked the album that much. And there's still a 5-point difference between them two.
Oh,
Uh,
that's funny.
definitely the most divisive album that we did. But Nick doesn't like 90s rock. I think he gave a really bad score to Super Unknown as well.
Yeah, he didn't like it.
So anytime we put 90s rock in there, it's just going to get a low score from Nick, unfortunately.
Yeah. Unless it's Nirvana. He like Nevermind.
Did he? Okay, and I don't like
Yeah.
that. Gosh, because if you take Nick's score out of there, this is probably getting a 9 out of 10 or something average, or 8.5, something like that. You put Nick's 2 and it goes. Anyways, all right. Enough of me ranting about Nick.
Sorry, Nick.
He gives Frank Sinatra a 10. I give it a 6. He gives this a 2, and I give it. It's like we're just on different spectrums when it comes to
Different spectrum, yeah.
crazy. That's music for you. All right, so that's the end of our part 2, and that's the end of our album exchange for the month of April. Again, yeah, Frank Sinatra comes out on top. Stranger Than Night, man, getting the best score here. The 9 out of 10, basically average. And then Traveler's second best score, I would say, on the.
Oh, nice.
I'd say Human Clay got the worst score, probably the kind of like right below the 8, basically. And then everything else though was kind of around the 8 to 8.5 range, so mostly positive scores.
Yeah, we didn't have any bad albums, unless you're Nick.
Well, we'll have an album where everybody like Stranger Than Night. Everybody loved it except for me. Like I was the one person that like didn't like it. Human Clay. Everybody pretty much liked it for the most part except for Nick. So it's like we don't have one album where everybody hates it for sure. Every album gets good scores from some people. Then you have one bad score. It's usually me or Nick. I think me or Nick are the ones that usually bring the scores down. Uh, I don't know if you guys. It feels like you guys don't have given bad scores like we have.
The lowest album I gave was 8.5.
Yeah. You guys. I don't think are giving bad
But I'm
scores.
not giving any 10s though.
Yeah. The lowest score I've given so far on the exchange was Adam's first pick when I joined, which was Al Stewart,
Yeah,
Year of
I
the Cat.
forgot.
I didn't like that album. I gave it like a 5.
Oh, did you? Okay, so you did get a low.
Yeah.
I don't know if me and Nick are the harshest critics in the group or something. I don't know what that is.
It's definitely not me.
It's definitely not Adam. Adam's always that 8.5 to 9.25 range.
Yeah, I'm always 0.25 somewhere.
Anyway, so thanks so much for watching this. Thank you to Anthony and Mike for being in the chats for a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, appreciate that, guys. Yeah, and we'll be talking about our next albums here in the chats, and we'll be getting ready for next month to do 6 more albums. So, thanks a lot to Jacob and Adam for joining me, and
Thank you.
goodbye to everybody. Hope you have a good weekend.
Take care.
Good one.